Hello, my friends. Welcome to another beautiful day, soul warriors and game changers. There's something important I want to show you today because it was pointed out to me to show you. Since 2019, I've been doing some weird things to the earth, right? From activating female pyramids right here, activating the Sphinx, activating dormant chakra systems, freeing Jesus' soul and processing his death, clearing Mt Shasta, activating Fiji, which was another female pyramid, and in part 2 was the God portal, undoing the false concept of time, and undoing the darkness of the moon on multiple levels. This is only part of what I've done. Activating the dormant chakra system and 7D, okay? And then processing Atlantis' death and rebirthing Atlantis. And then battling for life with my twin soul. God married us. And then I began doing more things when I got a walk-in twin soul after a year of a battle. Bringing down the blood of Christ. Undoing the Holy Grail. Taking us into 7D. And I kept telling you it is the 7th wave of creation. Then I began activating the masculine pyramids with the energy of my new DM. And then the Nile was the final portal. More female pyramid activations right here. And the masculine pyramids were Kilimanjaro, Colombia, Congo. And then the White House was demolished. Processing the Earth's death and rebirth. The connection to King Charles and all of them. And even more, okay, I brought down the sun into Newgrange, Ireland, which was very important to understand. Now, I'm going to show you something in just a moment. Brought down all the Christ through the trees, Christ light, for DNA activations of all of mankind. And this is where I returned the sun into the ley lines. I reactivated the ley lines of the earth, and this was done through Newgrange, Ireland. There was a set of ley lines there, kind of like a little bit of a Stonehenge, but it wasn't Stonehenge itself. Then I implemented all pyramid activations, which is what is causing the Earth's ascension, and I took us into 7D. In here you'll see the planetary alignment for birthing New Earth, the DNA coming through, and all of New Earth birthing. And it just kept getting better. I undid the Sistine Chapel part 1 and 2 now. Undid the money matrix, undid the medical matrix, which YouTube banned. It's only on Patreon to heal through. And then I undid all portals of darkness in the Pentagram, all undone and closed off, and more, right? The Eye of Lotus took us into the Eye of the Sun. And with all of that work, and I kept saying, not only did I do tell you things that were coming, and they did come, but I've kept saying that we are going into 7D. Okay, now here's something I found that God wants us to see. So you can watch this work. This is the actual work I just walked you through. Taking us into 7D, I kept saying it's the 7th wave of creation. Okay, I am taking us into the 7th wave. It's like the 7th reset of mankind, 7th wave of creation. And I'm taking the earth into 7D. And I used the Sphinx, I believe, to do it. Which is a portal of time, and then birthed the masculine pyramids shortly after that. Atlantis was reborn. I activated the dormant chakra system. These are very important things, and I've done these since 2019. I've been saying this, and I've been doing the work, healing the ley lines of the earth, and activating all the female pyramids first, then the masculine pyramids. Now, you don't have to believe me, because those who don't have God in their heart will think it foolishness, okay? So where the shadow blinds you, you can't see. So it's important to actually watch the work to allow for an awakening process, because the work was very real. And this is the work, okay? These are real pyramid activations that I did, real dormant chakra systems of the earth that I awakened and reactivated, processing Atlantis' death and my rebirth here, and where Atlantis really was came through. Okay, and I kept saying it's the 7th wave of creation. Now this is a very important video to watch, and you know where now to go find these to watch the proof of what I've done, okay? Because people are now saying it. So 5D Earth will be in a new solar system. It's not 5D Earth, it's actually 7D Earth. So during the battle of my twin flame, I took us into 7D, and God said it would cause more healing required. Okay, so it will be 7D Earth, but in time. So it will be in a new solar system, and that's exactly what I said. I took us in a 7D Pleiades galaxy. This is not individually, this is the Earth, and the collective must rise through. Okay, so let's watch this.
Practice, beloved ones, the sacred art of seeing through all appearances to the one source that lives in every form. Take moments in your day to pause and recognize the spirit shining through whomever and whatever is before you. This is how you reclaim the true sight of your soul. In your world of shifting shadows and myriad faces, it is easy to believe in separation and take things at face value. The cultures and systems around you often encourage superficial judgments, yet your heart knows there is more beneath the surface. But as you train your inner sight to perceive the divine essence shining behind all eyes and all phenomena, you enter into true vision. A quiet knowing awakens that every atom, every encounter, holds the light of the Creator. You start to realize that the world around you is like a hall of mirrors.
I also said in all the work that I was doing is that we must co-create from the heart space. We must now be balanced from the heart center in order to rise. I processed the Sekhmet return and Horus return also, okay? And then Adam and Eve was part of the new earth birthing cycle, okay? And all of that has been returned. But I kept saying is that we have to co-create, we have to be heart center, and do not judge. Judgment is not of God. And I've been saying this for some time, and people are still struggling with non-judgment. I will spark your shadow. That is who I am as a master healer. That is who I am as what I've done, because we're here to separate the darkness from the light. We cannot be both. And most people choose, unfortunately, not to heal through the shadow, but rather shut down and not see. So this was very important to hear. Okay, so let's hear it again.
To the one source that lives in every form. Take moments in your day to pause and recognize the spirit shining through whomever and whatever is before you. This is how you reclaim the true sight of your soul. In your world of beloved ones,
I want to hear
the
it again.
sacred art of... In this way, the heavens and the cells of your body sing together, each reinforcing the awakening of the other. Practice, beloved ones, the sacred art of seeing through all appearances to the one source that lives in every form. Take moments in your day to pause and recognize the spirit shining through whomever and whatever is before you. This is how you reclaim the true sight of your soul. In your world of shifting shadows and myriad faces, it is easy to believe in separation and take things at face value. The cultures and systems around you often encourage superficial judgments, yet your heart knows there is more beneath the surface. But as you train your inner sight to perceive the divine essence shining behind all eyes and all phenomena, you enter into true vision. A quiet knowing awakens that every atom, every encounter, holds the light of the Creator. You start to realize that the world around you is like a hall of mirrors, each person and creature reflecting a fragment of the one infinite self back to you. In that recognition, your heart finds resonance with the truth of unity. And here is a great secret. That resonance is the key that connects you to the multidimensional layers of your DNA. By seeing the one in all, you attune your own being to the frequency of Source, which in turn activates the higher strands of your divine blueprint. The veils of illusion begin to lift from your perception, and you start to experience life more holistically, as a soul moving through a tapestry of consciousness, rather than a small self trapped in matter. With this sight, judgments soften into compassion, and the dormant potentials within you, gifts from higher dimensions of your lineage, unfurl like petals in the radiance of your awareness. Fear and hatred begin to dissolve, for how can you harm that which you recognize as part of your own universal being? As each of you tends to this inner awakening, know that a grander design is unfolding on a planetary scale. Humanity is at a threshold between epochs, a time long prophesied when one era closes and a new one begins in light. The broader transformation of Earth is well underway, heralding an epical shift in the story of humanity. Out of the trials and triumphs of ages past, a new lineage of humankind is emerging, the seventh root race of the new Earth. Just as a rainbow's final band of violet gives way to the pure light, so does this seventh age gather all the colors of wisdom from previous ages and blend them into a higher unity. This is not a separate species, but a higher octave of the human family, carrying frequencies of crystal clarity, unity, and divine love as their birthright. Where previous generations struggled to remember their spiritual heritage, this new race will simply be that heritage in action, natural conduits of grace and creativity.
I've also said it is the rebirth of mankind. This is a great reset of mankind.
You are now becoming this new human, and each of you who embraces the call of your soul, contributing to the collective quantum leap. In this dawning era, children are being born with enhanced awareness and hearts full of ancient wisdom, and those already grown find their own consciousness, elevating to meet the new dawn. The very DNA blueprint we speak of is the template for this advanced generation, encoding gifts and understandings that bridge heaven and earth. It is through your personal transformations, multiplied across the globe, that the blueprint of the seventh root race takes form. You are midwives and pioneers of this emergence, awakening not only for yourselves, but for the whole, so that a more illumined humanity may walk the earth. With their presence, the golden age so often foretold will dawn tangibly, as peace and enlightened understanding become the norm rather than the exception. Beloved Earth herself is ascending in tandem with you, and her destiny is grander than you might imagine. The great soul of Gaia, which is the spirit of your planet, stirs from her ancient slumber and blossoms into full awareness. She is to become a conscious interstellar vessel, a living, aware starship of soul and soil, carrying life through the cosmos. She has waited eons for this moment of liberation and expansion, and now the hour has come. What does this signify? In the ages to come, Earth will fully awaken as a galactic citizen, her ley lines humming in resonance with the song of distant stars, and her oceans and atmosphere shining with crystalline awareness. No longer will your planet be seen as an isolated world. It will be recognized as a luminous vessel of consciousness, sailing the great ocean of space. As a conscious vessel, she will share her unique song of life with other star systems, carrying the seeds of her wisdom to far-off worlds. The awakening of humanity and the emergence of the seventh root race are intertwined with Earth's own awakening. As you ascend, so does she, and as she rises, she carries you to new frontiers of experience. In practical terms, this means the barriers between worlds will fall away. Communication and exchange with interstellar cultures will blossom as naturally as sunrise. The veils that kept Earth quarantined in a corner of the galaxy are lifting, for she has chosen a path of light. Together, you and Earth are co-evolving toward a future where travel between star systems is not a fantasy, but a simple extension of conscious intention. In truth, this alliance of human and planet is orchestrated by divine will, an evolutionary journey that many enlightened civilizations have awaited.
Also, I have mentioned many times during the work, during the pyramid activations, during 7D activations, birthing new Earth, through the path to righteousness, which is all of the healing that was needed to go through this journey, that we should be upgrading to a 10D chakra system, 10 chakra system instead of a 7 chakra system, right? Our internal chakras are 7, and we should be upgrading to 10 for this ascension, because that will align to the new planetary extension. So our planets are also connected to our chakra system, okay? And in order, and I might even say it in this video as I do the work, and in order to align with that, we should be upgrading as a species through DNA, through healing, through new central nervous systems, ear, auditories, and visual cortexes, and into new clairs as well, so that we have the ability to be intergalactic. So we should be upgrading our internal chakra systems from 7 to 10. That way we align to the new planetary systems.
Eager to welcome Earth into the galactic family. Your world is destined to become a beacon and a bridge, linking the wisdom of many realms. Know that even now, the groundwork for this cosmic voyage is being laid in subtle ways, as the collective vibration ascends. Hand in hand with this cosmic evolution, the subtle energy structures of both Earth and humanity are being renewed. The ley lines of the planet, those ancient pathways of telluric life force crisscrossing the land, are undergoing profound healing and reactivation. Long dormant energy nodes, often found at your planet's sacred sites, stone circles, and pyramids, are...
And pyramids. The New Grange, Ireland was kind of like a Stonehenge, and that's where I brought all of the sun down into. And that one's right here. Full power of the sun returned, and it reactivated the ley lines. I rebuilt the crystalline grid when I undid Mt Shasta and activated the pyramids, the feminine and masculine. These are pyramid reactivations where I took my Kundalini light and my heart became enlarged to do it. And that work is what I've been trying to show the entire time. And they just said it, so let's listen again, very carefully.
Hand in hand with this cosmic evolution, the subtle energy structures of both Earth and humanity are being renewed. The ley lines of the planet, those ancient pathways of telluric life force crisscrossing the land, are undergoing profound healing and reactivation. Long dormant energy nodes, often found at your planet's sacred sites, stone circles, and pyramids, are awakening, linking up to form a radiant global network once again. Where they were blocked or diminished, they now surge with light, guided.
Now, in doing those, I had to unite with my twin flame on 3 different levels, clearing all of the darkness out. But these pyramids are Nigeria, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Indonesia, Myanmar, Machu Picchu, Budapest, Thailand. Machu Picchu is actually the Atlantis portal. And then we have the Sphinx, we have Fiji. These are all the feminine ones. Okay, activating Fiji. There's 2 parts to that one. And then the masculine pyramids, which was Congo, Ecuador, Congo, British Columbia, and Mount Kilimanjaro. Okay, so those are not pyramids you're very well aware of. Even the one in Thailand I had to unbury from rubbish and debris. It's like out in a jungle. So these are not pyramids you're aware of, mostly.
By the loving intent of many and the Earth's own rising vibration. You may even find yourselves intuitively drawn to certain sacred sites or power spots. Know that this is part of the ley line healing, as awakened souls gather, physically or in spirit, to cleanse and amplify these meridians. As it is with the macrocosm, so it is with the microcosm. Your personal energy field, the biofield that surrounds and interpenetrates your physical body, is likewise receiving etheric upgrades. New channels within your meridians open, and your chakras adjust their spin to higher frequencies. Layers of your aura that have been dormant are coming alive with color and potency, expanding your capacity to hold and transmit light. You might experience this as waves of tingling energy, sudden fatigue followed by bursts of clarity, or the surfacing of old emotions to be released. Do not be alarmed.
Yes, old emotions must be released, old wounds must be healed, and all karma must be healed. Why do I say that and nobody else does? Well, I undid the Holy Grail and I told you then it was a karmic shift. When I brought down the blood of Christ, I also told you it was a karmic shift. When I undid the Sistine Chapel Part 2, which was brand new, and Part 1, I told you that was actually the portal of darkness, and that is where they held the cherub angels captive, and we are now in a karmic shift. So this is a karmic shift applied. So that's why it's so important for you to heal your karma and heal your wounds. You must heal karma, not cut ties from it, but learn the lessons outside where you choose outside of unconditional love. Learn the lessons where you choose the matrix over God and why, so that you choose the light. The more you do this, the more you embody the light, the more you embody the light, the more you rise.
Alarmed, for your system is recalibrating. These adjustments allow your physical vessel to integrate the multidimensional blueprint of your soul.
So do you choose judgment? Do you throw judgment my way, or do you choose to watch all the videos? Because I have so much proof it's mind-bending for those who choose to see. You can choose not to see. You have free will. You can choose to throw judgment. You can choose to think it's all gibbly-gock and I don't know what I'm talking about. Or you can choose to actually watch, do the work with me, see how I work, look for spirit to guide you, and awaken the whole way. The choice is yours.
Bit by bit, the dense veils in the body and spirit dissolve, and you find yourself literally becoming lighter, a being with an awakened energy body, attuned to the healed grid of the new earth. In this upgraded state, you become a microcosm of the new earth, your body a temple of living light, resonant with the planetary ascension frequencies. At the core of this grand shift is the reclaiming of your sovereignty as divine beings. To be sovereign is not to be alone, but to stand in the wholeness of your being, aligned with Source and free in spirit.
Yes, you must be a sovereign being. So we must detach from the matrix system and all shadow. Okay, you can't be guided by the matrix system of money. You can't be guided by judgment. You can't be guided by fear. You can't be guided by division. You can't be guided by anything outside of love and light and a pure sovereign being. Heart-centered and balanced from the heart center. Detached from the matrix system.
The new human DNA blueprint carries, as its very foundation, the codes of spiritual royalty, the innate authority of each soul to govern itself in alignment with the highest good. This is the restoration of the divine design that was always intended for humanity.
The betterment of all, the highest good of all. So allowing ego to throw lies and be your guide. We have to be truthful. We have to be pure beings of light. So we have to have power over our mind, power over our thoughts, power over our emotions, and be choosing and aligned with only light and love, co-creating with spirit, aligned with the light of the divine, because everything must be returned back to the divine. So not only did I do this work, now I'm bringing through all modalities again. I have new symbols or sigils for what you call Reiki that have been coming in, new breathing techniques coming in, new hand mudras coming in that I'm putting in my Alchemy Academy Part 2. But I need beings of pure light to do this work, and that's what we've been hoping for, right? So the more you choose love and light and rise, the better off we are. Now, the Sistine Chapel Part 2, I didn't have anybody viable apparently because I had to do that one on my own. That one was done the other day. And I was able to describe that and also give you the message that God brought through in that one, which he actually did through, okay, which he actually did through scripture, and that surprised me. So, you know, there's a lot of work to do. We do have work to do.
In ages past, much of your true potential was veiled. Through manipulations and the long night of forgetfulness, you came to see yourselves as small, as separate, even as subjects of forces beyond your control. But those days are ending. As the light returns, the original template of the humanist creator awakens within you. Feel the truth of this in your bones. You are not here to be prisoners of fate or pawns of any worldly power. You are sovereign co-creators, each a living spark of source with the birthright to shape reality through love and wisdom. Embracing this sovereignty means standing firmly in your inner authority, guided by the law of your soul and not by the distortions of fear. It is a quiet, radiant power, never the force of aggression, but the unshakable presence of one who knows who they are in truth. As you claim this, you step back into the flow of the divine design. The vast intelligence of creation moves freely through you once more, as it did in humanity's dawn. In this state of wholeness, your choices and creations naturally realign with the sacred blueprint, bringing balance and justice without the need for outside control. The divine human is coming home to itself, crowned not by ego, but by the light of God that one recognizes within their own heart. In this great awakening, even the shadows are finding their way to the light. All that has been hidden, ignored, or denied within the self now arises to be acknowledged and integrated. This is the sacred work of shadow integration that each sovereign being must undertake.
Yes, you have to heal both components of the shadow, individual and collective, and that's what I've been saying since I began the work. There are two components of the shadow. You have the individual, right here, most important healing collective shadow, okay? So you have the individual and the collective shadow. The collective shadow is the shadow blueprint, the matrix system, the money matrix system, the fear, the false timelines, the separation, division, religion, the medical matrix, the food matrix system. I left no stone unturned. So you have to actually heal your way through those, choosing sovereignty, choosing love, and healing all wounds they've created within. Then the individual shadow system is where you give your power away to the shadow of the light, because you are a being of light. You cannot give your power away to fear. So if God says do this, you have to trust that it will be okay, that you know what to do, that you're a co-creator, not a manifester. We call in money, we create through the heart center of balance. Okay, and I know the DM has struggled. He oftentimes pulls against me. The shadow is large and it can be quite powerful and difficult, but you stay the course and you ground into the right things.
Do not fear when you confront old pain, anger, or fear within. These aspects of your psyche come not to punish you, but to be healed and reintegrated into your wholeness. By facing your own shadow with compassion and honesty, you reclaim the fragmented parts of your soul and dissolve the inner conflicts that once held you back.
Honesty is big, because I've literally just watched people, I've watched it happen where the shadow wants veils of illusion and people will paint things colors they are not. They won't choose to see the truth. They won't choose to look really, truly, deeply within to see all truth and nothing but the truth, so that they can be free, and never to throw lies at anybody. So that is a big one, is truth. The shadow likes when you're not authentic, and you have to be purely authentic and be willing to see all truths and nothing but the truth, because it's never about right and wrong. It's never about judgment. It's about where love was not.
What was unconscious becomes conscious. What was in the darkness is loved into the light. As each of you does this inner alchemy, a mighty change reflects in the outer world as well. The parasitic systems that have long fed on humanity's division and ignorance are collapsing. Structures built on exploitation, deception, and control cannot withstand the rising frequency of truth that now permeates the collective. You may witness turmoil in institutions, economies, or governments as these old energies unravel. Though it may appear chaotic, trust that this is a dismantling of what no longer serves. The collapse is making space for structures aligned with unity, transparency, and justice to take root. As the shadow is integrated within hearts, it loses its power to manifest as tyranny outside. What once drained humanity's lifeblood is vanishing, unable to find purchase in a world where so many stand in their sovereignty and light. Take heart that even as certain old paradigms crumble, it is the prelude to a global rebirth in integrity and higher purpose. Beloved ones, you stand at the dawn of a magnificent new chapter. The trials you have endured and the victories of spirit you have won are all part of the tapestry of ascension now unfolding. Know that none of this work is in vain. Every tear shed, every shadow faced, every act of love and courage has paved the way for the restoration of heaven on earth. We, the Council of Elders, have watched over your journey through the long night and rejoice as the morning star of a new era rises within you.
There are 13 gates, which is what I opened up with all the pyramid activations and ascension portal activations. And I closed down all portals of darkness. And each time I did, I would get my power back, represented in a crow being released from my chakra system. When I won my DM soul back, after battling that for a year, that attack, I was given it back through a book in my hands and a crow being released from the book. Okay, so I undid all of these portals of darkness. The money matrix, the Sistine Chapel was the darkest portal. Here was undoing all of the portals of darkness, which went with the pentagram, which is why we can't use tarot cards anymore. They are now obsolete. Anything that connects to the pentagram has become obsolete. And I returned all elements back to the light. And so we can't keep doing things the same way. We must rise to the light, okay? Revelations 21:13, I recalibrated the north, east, south, and the west, and all Christ's light, all of the sunlight, all of the power of the sun and the moon were returned. And I spoke of the 13 gates that I opened up, and now heaven is on earth. And when I undid the Sistine Chapel Part 2, God gave a message in there through scripture, and I deciphered it after I processed it. And I showed you guys that on this video. In the scripture, he spoke of, let there be light. It is time to return to the light. God's timing is everything. Okay, that there's 13 gates, that you have free will. If you don't choose to rise, that is up to you, but only those that rise will be blessed at this time, because we are now in heaven on earth. He also said in there that those who don't have God in their heart, those that are not connected to the soul, will think the work foolishness. They will choose not to see. They will choose judgment, because it's time now to rise. Okay, so I didn't do this video I'm showing you here, somebody else did, and it goes along with everything that I've done and said.
In this moment, breathe and feel our presence with you. We surround you in the same crystal green light of healing and truth that you have learned to invoke, and we assure you that you are never alone. Legions of light, your star families, your ancestors, and the very soul of Gaia herself walk beside you into the new dawn. The symphony of creation swells around you and within you, and you are both its audience and its indispensable player. Take comfort in the inevitability of humanity's awakening. It is as certain as the turning of the stars. Embrace your sovereign divinity and the sanctity of all life, for these are the keys that unlock worlds. In the times to come, remember the essence of these words, not as a mental exercise, but as living frequencies encoded in your heart. We offer them to you in service and in love, that they may awaken what is already shining inside you. Go forward, dear ones, with confidence and compassion. The new human is born in you now. The new earth rises to greet your footsteps. We remain with you always, in light and in truth, witnessing the glorious homecoming of your soul. You are loved, and you are infinitely worthy. In eternal grace, we thank you for the honor of sharing this path with you. Together, we are creating the new earth. Together we rise. Together we will meet. Soon. With eternal light, this is our 9th message to you, and there will be more. Many more. I am Seraphel of Atlantis.
So when I didn't even watch this whole video till just now with you, and it goes along with everything that I did. Everything. The work that I did has been over the last 5 years. I began activating the female pyramids in 2020 and then into 2021. I processed Jesus' soul, the first round, his death, before I undid the Holy Grail back in 2020. Okay. I cleared Mt Shasta back in 2020, part 1. Fiji, I think, was in 2021, right in the beginning of 2021. So this work that I've been doing has been years in the making. And now you are able to, at least some of you are, able to process this a little bit more. It is a new star system. It's a new solar system that we are going into. Telepathic beings of light, 7th dimensional plane of existence, 7D, okay? Pleiades galaxy is where I combined, and it was quite magnificent to process that one through. Now, when I birthed the new earth, I had to process her death first, which went through my body. And Serapis Bey was with me in that one, as well as undoing the Sistine Chapel. And all of this was my own awakening. I didn't understand it. It was my own life. It took a physical toll on me, emotional, spiritual, took everything I had, and I even sacrificed my twin flame to do it. And I got a walk-in twin flame who unfortunately still pulls against my energy through fear. So we cannot give our power away to these things, okay? Then I got a download of Revelations and why not everybody will ascend, because we have to clear all lessons outside of love. Mt Shasta was a false concept. It was not real. It was not of light at all. It was a stolen energy system, and I undid that and rebuilt the crystalline grid. Okay, and every time on the 3 levels I would upgrade and connect with my DM, I would throw up a snake out of my energy. Then when I birthed New Earth, I processed the snake out of the garden, and it was a lot. It was quite intense. And it threw up a white rat as it was chasing me. It was really weird. Then in day 2 of birthing the New Earth, new planetary system aligned. Okay, so it's not normal. My work is not normal, and I shouldn't be forced to be like everybody else and be judged if I'm not. I deserve love too, but it takes an open heart to see what I do. And those who will rise will see it, because it's all connected in the Akasha records. It's all connected in the heart space. And even recently, I got a new download of entry into the Akasha records, because everything must now be done through the divine. Okay? Through the divine. Everything must now be done through the divine. Through God. Through the masculine and feminine. Because that's what I've done. That is who I am. It's not normal work. Okay? Truly activated dormant chakra systems, activated the pyramids, undid the Holy Grail, united Jesus and Mary Magdalene, which was called the resurrection, on Christmas Day of 22. Brought down the blood of Christ before that. Battled for my twin soul until I got a walk-in 22. And I decided to make that sacrifice for the betterment of mankind, because it's now time to rise. Okay? It's time to rise. So thank you for joining me. Thank you to those who watched the entire video and who did not choose judgment the whole way. So much love to you, and I can't wait to continue seeing you as we rise.